Hey guys, Matt Welch with the Welch Group. Just want to shoot a quick video here for the customers that are with Citizens that have been getting several different notices via the mail. But before I jump into that, let me go backwards real quick just to explain why you're actually getting these letters. For those of you that don't know, or maybe you've just forgotten, Citizens is owned by the state of Florida. So it's a government-owned insurance company. It was originally deemed the insurer of last resort. And what that meant was it was only for people who couldn't get insurance somewhere else in the marketplace. However, over the last couple of years, it has become the largest insurance carrier in Florida. The problem with that is the state of Florida really doesn't want to be in the insurance business. It's very difficult. It's hard, and they don't really want to be in it. They weren't designed for that. So with that said, the problem that they run into is they've had several statutes and laws and stuff like that that have limit their ability to raise their rates like a standard carrier would. And because of that, their premiums now have become artificially low. So compared to other carriers, their premiums are significantly lower than everybody else. The problem is magnified there when you don't want to be in the insurance business, but you can't raise your rates. You now become an attractive option for a lot of people here in the state of Florida, and this is what's led to their growth. So with that said, Citizens has had to come up with some creative ways to reduce their exposure in Florida in terms of homeowner policies. And those are the three letters that we're going to look at here real quick. If you haven't gotten one of these letters at some point in time, if you're insured with Citizens, you will. So just hang on, you'll eventually get it. So in this very first letter, if we're looking at it, I underline the two most important parts of this letter. What it basically says right here is that that your renewal premium, that there is not more than 20% greater than the estimated Citizens renewal premium for comparable coverage. This means your policy is ineligible to renew with Citizens. What that means is they have found a carrier that is within 20% of your renewal premium with Citizens. And because they are within 20% of your renewal premium, you don't get a choice. You have to move to them. Again, they're the state of Florida. It's the government. So they can force you out and over to the other carrier. Now, in this scenario, this is going to happen on November 21st, 2023. So that was last year. And it was going to be automatic. It's seamless. Everything just automatically goes over to the other carrier. Now, one of the contingencies there for the other carriers, they must have equal or greater coverage on the policy. Again, for those of you that have been around Citizens for any length of time, you'll know that most of the other carriers out there provide more coverage than what the Citizens policy does. So in most cases, that's not an issue. But again, if you get one of these letters, that last sentence right there is everything. You are ineligible to renew with Citizens regardless of the situation. Now, if we go down to this second letter, okay, this is a very similar letter that goes out. But basically the difference is this one is saying that Citizens has found another option for you in the standard market that was willing to write your home insurance. So in this particular case, if we look at it, we can see for this particular customer that Florida Peninsula was willing to write their home insurance in the amount of $3,626. However, you can see right here with Citizens, their renewal premium was $2,756. Now, Citizens is non-rated, and it's a government insurance company with very limited coverages. As compared to a Florida Peninsula that has a standard policy and that has a lot of coverages in there. So some differences there. But again, you can see that this customer may or may not want to move from a Citizens to Florida Peninsula. It is their choice. But the customer has to either call us and have us opt them out on Citizens website, or the customer can go in themselves and opt themselves out by logging into the Citizens website up there. Regardless, you have to make that option or they will automatically move you to Florida Peninsula. Okay, but in this case, the customer does have the option of staying with Citizens if they wish. They just have to make their choice. If we go down to the third document down here, this is proof of primary residency. Don't let that confuse you because it confuses a lot of people. Basically, what Citizens is really saying here is, if you own a home here in Florida, we need proof that it is your primary home or it is somebody's full-time primary home. What I mean by that is, if you lived in Maine and this was a secondary residence for you down here, and you did not rent your house out, so nobody lived in the house for 6 months out of the year, in that situation, it would not be your primary residence. In return, Citizens is going to surcharge your policy because nobody is living in it full time. Vice versa. If you're in Maine and you own a home here and you're renting it and you have somebody that lives in it full time for the year, in that scenario, that is your renter's primary residency. So if we provide Citizens with one of these pieces of documentation over here, they will not surcharge that policy. Now, little side note here, like Florida driver's license is acceptable documentation for proof of primary residency. If this house is a rental home, we would need a copy of your renter's driver's license showing the address as their primary home, okay? Because then that shows that they live there full time. So in that scenario, that's not the person that owns the home. It's not a copy of their driver's license. It's the actual tenant's driver's license showing that it is their full-time primary home. So again, Citizens, this is one of the newer forms. This last one is proof of primary. And if we don't send in one of their acceptable documents, they will surcharge the premium on that particular home. Again, kind of coming full circle in this video to the beginning. Again, the reasons behind this are for Citizens to reduce their footprint with regards to homeowners here in the state of Florida without necessarily raising the rates per se. Another thing that, and I'll say this in closing, another thing that is going out to some people on an annual basis is a requirement of flood insurance. Citizens, by the end of 2027, is going to require everybody in the state of Florida to carry flood insurance, whether you have a mortgage or not. The idea behind that is, again, ways to reduce their footprint here in Florida, but at the same token, it also cuts down on lawsuits and things of that nature when flooding occurs along the coast. So again, if you get one of those flood letters, give us a call. But everybody by the end of 2027 will be required to have a flood insurance policy in place if you're a Citizens policy holder. So hope that helps you out a little bit. If you have any questions, give us a call and we'll certainly help you out as best we can. Thank you.